Hi, Meryl. Have you got some time to talk about food?
Hi, Paul. Yes, I'm actually reading George Monbiot's book, Regenesis, at the moment. Our global food systems are really creaking at the edges. Did you know that food production and waste are responsible for about a quarter of global greenhouse gas emissions?
Yeah, definitely. And the earlier that we start to talk to children about healthy diets for a healthy planet, as well as a healthy us, the better.
I love campaigns for schools to adopt meat-free Mondays or climate traffic lighting for different meals. So what's the standout activity in the food section for the Ministry of Eco-Education curriculum?
Well, I really like the big question that's quite a broad one. It says, where should we get our food?
And what do learners find out?
Well, we start with actually going back to basics and think, why do we need food? So we link out to food is a fact of life presentation, and there's also the eat well plate. And then we move on to thinking about how food has changed over time.
I'm in my 50s now, and the food we eat is totally different than when I was a child. There's ultra processed foods and a zillion types of milk. It's only when I really visit a greengrocer that it reminds me of my childhood.
Yeah, what we eat has definitely changed vastly, and that's also on a global scale as well. Diets have dramatically shifted. And so following that, and what we do is we look at what do most people eat. So some children in a class might be vegetarian or come from vegetarian families. Some might eat home cooked meals every day, and some might only have takeaway or ready meals.
I bet a school survey is one of the suggested activities to assess the types of food that children are eating.
Yeah, definitely opening up that conversation with the whole community. Yeah, then we then get children to answer the questions: where does my food come from, and what's the impact of my diet?
And even if we just consider the chocolate we eat, it's an incredible series of steps from tree to the bar that might be in a packed lunch. Every step of the process has an environmental impact.
Yeah, definitely. And taking chocolate is a really good example. And often people think about fair trade, but there's, you can go far beyond that. Another one that we use is milk as well, sort of taking milk as an example of a food product that
And
you
doing
can,
taste tests.
well, yeah, taste tests, but also then exploring the process of production and distribution and all those sorts of things and the impact. And then you can sort of scale that up to other food types. So, this then leads us to the next question. Should we eat insects? And we use a TED Ed video and graph, which compares the nutritional value of different insects. And there's also a story about an Australian witchetty grub.
Yummy. I've tried crunchy crickets. They're interesting. But my daughter did a project on this, and apparently the younger children are, the more enthusiastic they'd be to even try an insect.
Wow. Well, so we then finish off with young people, with some resources from the Young People's Trust for the Environment, and also some others from WWF, um, where they think about how we can eat more sustainably. And that's along with a philosophy for children kind of activity in question, thinking about where we should get our food.
This is so relevant to ensure young people understand how to eat sustainably. I can't wait to see what incredible resources are linked to these big questions of should we all go vegan? Because that's one of those questions that really is edgy nowadays.
Yeah, I like that one. That's one actually that we've publicized quite a lot. And I think it's quite a controversial one because people think, oh, you must be just pushing children to become vegans. And that's really not what that's about. It's about critically exploring the idea of being a vegan and actually, is it the right thing or is it not? And kind of how much of that we can and we can't. So that links to writing. It looks at composition and fractions, living things and their habitats alongside cooking and nutrition. And the key ideas on that are a vegan diet involves eating only food comprising of plants, whereas maybe also veganism isn't just about food, it's a lifestyle choice where people might think about other aspects of their lives having an impact. One of the kind of quirky ones at the moment as well is there's a push to having vegan energy because there are animal products in many of our kind of gas and energy infrastructure and the way that that's produced.
So I mean, it is, the food systems is incredible. It's just so complicated in many ways, but doesn't necessarily have to be. Are there any big questions on the importance of reducing food waste or community growing projects?
Well, yeah, so not yet. I mean, what we have done is thought up some titles, some questions, some really interesting things like what happens to food waste and is the future community farms? But the way that we work is bringing teachers together, and it's all about kind of working collaboratively. So what we're really looking for is more teachers to help to co-create some of these lessons and maybe share examples of things that they've been doing that we can build up together into something that can help everyone.
Yeah, absolutely. There's so many teachers who do get this and why we need to do it. And there's so many incredible organisations in this space. Eco schools really promote healthy diets for a healthy planet. And then you have Devil's Kitchen and Pro Veg encouraging the benefits of plant-based diets in schools, even if it's only for a day or two a week rather than all the time. You could find out about Forest Green Rovers Football Club, which only serves vegan food now. The RHS School Gardening website's amazing. I've used it lots myself. And the WWF has a whole campaign on being a food waste warrior. I'd also recommend Re-Food Waste Program project and the Ellen MacArthur Big Food Redesign. Chester Zoo even have resources on on sustainable palm oil champions, and so that's one of my favorite little videos. Is there's a orangutan in my bedroom.
Yeah, I think food, this topic is such an interesting one because obviously everyone eats food and schools are really interconnected in terms of the food that they then provide. So this is an obvious one to draw young children into, and they can reflect and explore the food that they consume within the school. Again, that might lead to some interesting conversations with school caterers, and you kind of start to understand the complexity of how food is provided for schools, and trying to unpick that can really open up challenges.
Part of my school's Eco Schools project, the children have identified in their action plan is to measure the amount of food waste and then try and reduce it through assemblies and things. So looking forward to getting stuck in with that.
Yeah, I've got some really good examples of previous schools I've worked in where we bagged up in clear bags food waste, weighed it on scales, collected it up for a day, and then wheeled it in a trolley to a school assembly. And obviously everyone thought it was disgusting and horrible, but it really helped visualize the amount of food waste the school was producing. So Meryl, 2 takeaways for teachers on this food topic.
Things that have worked really well for me. 1, do some food tasting, comparing oat and soya milk, seeing the reaction to eating crunchy critter insects. My year 6s do a designing an insect Christmas dinner just around this time, it's sort of like November, December, which they always enjoy. And number 2, use the lessons on fair trade foods to talk about things like chocolate, maybe do a little more testing.
Awesome. So there's plenty to keep everyone busy. Now, all of that talk about food has made me hungry.
Absolutely. But make sure you choose a healthy snack. Bye for now.
Bye.